Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for registering for today's webinar, which is Technology Resilience, Lessons Learned in Digital Transformation. So we're in for a good one today. My name is Jane Pendlebury. I'm the CEO of HOSPA, the Hospitality Professionals Association. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of September. It's 10:30 a.m. And you may be able to tell from my background that I'm not in the office today as I normally am, but I'm in a bedroom at the Strand Palace Hotel, having had a wonderful evening at the Marriott Grosvenor House Hotel on Park Lane for the AA Awards last night. I'm very grateful to Alessandra and the team at Focus on Hospitality, guided by Ryan Haynes from Haynes Marcoms, for doing all the hard work and preparation for this webinar. We're due to be chatting for around 30 minutes today with time for questions towards the end, so we should be finished around 11:15, but I promise by 11:30 latest. And please do ask questions throughout. There's a Q&A option at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get onto those as quickly as we can. If there's not enough time to answer the queries, we promise to get back to you afterwards. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we're happy to share the link afterwards, and it will be available on our website, YouTube channel, and all the usual places later this week. I'm now going to introduce you to Ryan Haynes, who I know many of you will know. So I'll hand over to you, Ryan.
Hey, Jane, thank you ever so much indeed. It's great to be here and to also be representing and working with Focus on Hospitality as we push them out into the marketplace. Some may already be familiar with them because they work with over 200 properties across the UK already. But great news is that we've partnered with HOSPA to be bringing you this webinar. Also platinum partners of HOSPA for this year, and we're looking forward to the HOSPACE that's coming up obviously in November, and bringing two special events to Manchester and in Edinburgh for those of you who can't join us in London. But Jane, as you say, looking forward to taking any questions at the end of this session. So please, anybody, type it into the Q&A just there. Or if you actually want to have a conversation with us, we're all welcome to bring you in and join us as we get towards the end, because we'd love to obviously open this up a bit more. Today's session is all about introducing you to Focus on Hospitality. So shall I take over? Let's go. Thank you. So let me start off and give you a bit of a scene setting. Technology is no longer a back office tool in hospitality. It's a backbone of guest experience, operational excellence, and revenue growth. But with tighter margins, higher guest expectations, and legacy systems holding many hotels back, the question is, how can the industry achieve true digital transformation while future-proofing IT investments? So in this webinar, we'll be exploring technology resilience, lessons learned in digital transformation. We'll unpack the challenges and opportunities shaping hospitality technology today, from building the right IT infrastructure and safeguarding guest data to integrating AI for growth and service excellence. And importantly, we'll discuss how hotels can make smart investments now to prepare for the future. The stats do speak volumes. 57% of hotels report revenue growth after implementing digital improvements. 82% see improved operational efficiency through transformation, yet only 20% of operators have a dedicated digital transformation budget, and fewer than 10% believe their systems are fully integrated. So this fragmentation impacts everything, from staff productivity to guest satisfaction. Meanwhile, AI adoption in hospitality is projected to grow a staggering 60% annually over the next decade, with potential to drive revenue uplifts of up to 17%, but only if hotels have the right digital foundations in place. So to guide us through these insights, I've got three great, incredible voices from hospitality technology. Alessandra Leoni, Head of Hospitality at Focus on Hospitality, our sponsor here, powered by Focus Group. With 30 years of experience across operations, commercial strategy, and IT leadership, Alessandra has overseen full tech stack overhauls and is helping hotels nationwide future-proof their digital transformation. Secondly, Kevin Edwards, CEO of Hospitality Technology Advisory. Kevin has led transformation projects for some of the world's prestigious hotels. He brings deep expertise in aligning business priorities with infrastructure, AI investment, and tech strategy. And third, Gemma Oakenfull, Senior Strategic Account Manager at Access Accommodation. She works with major hotel chains and pub groups to deliver agile, secure, and collaborative tech stacks. Her focus on vendor relationships, cloud support, and guest-facing tech ensure hotels get maximum value for their digital investments. Together, we'll be unpacking what success looks like in digital transformation and how to overcome integration and budget challenges. We'll have time for your questions at the end, so feel free to drop them in the Q&A. So, Alessandra, starting off with you, you have clearly lived and breathed hospitality operations from the ground up, right through to IT leadership and strategy. And with your experience in overhauling these tech systems, what do you see as the biggest barriers hotels face when trying to future-proof their IT infrastructure?
Well, the biggest challenge is not having it in place. Many hotels still operate with legacy infrastructure that is unable to handle the demands of new technologies such as cloud PMS, mobile check-in, or integrated guest apps. But upgrading the IT is about ensuring reliable connectivity, robust networks, and scale a platform that all of a sudden becomes scalable so the hotel can innovate, meet guest expectation, and avoid costly downtime.
I mean, there's a lot of push, isn't there, really, to upgrade the tech stack, but that's the systems that sit on top of everything that underpins that. How far has everything that underpins that really changed and adapted in the last few years as a result of everything that's changing on top with the cloud systems?
Well, a lot has changed, Ryan, over the years. It has changed at the same pace that our hotel tech stack has changed. Technology has evolved, a solution has evolved, the speed of the solution and the need for a secure infrastructure has considerably changed over the past 10 years. So we need to ensure that infrastructure evolves alongside the digital transformations that hotels and guests are eager to see in the space.
What do you see are the critical steps then to moving forward and setting out a path to digital transformation?
There are quite a few. In order to achieve success in digital transformation, I see it as a combination of three things: having the correct strategy and setting the correct objectives of what we want to achieve. For obviously, and it's a business, so we need a return on that investment. The infrastructure needs to be correct according to the strategy that uses the technology that will achieve those objectives, and definitely the people. I know when we talk about technology, we tend to, oh, we want to replace people, but we don't. The people that build the strategy, deploy a solution, and deliver it to the teams and guests are pivotal. The strategy aligns to technology, to the hotel's commercial and guest experience and their goals. The infrastructure ensures that the system can talk to each other and perform reliably, and the people, both the teams and the guests, they must benefit from the transformation. If a new solution doesn't make life easier for the guests or for the teams or for the owners, then it doesn't create value. Thus, it will not succeed effectively. So all the three elements need to be in place for success.
I mean, you're absolutely no stranger to this whatsoever, because until recently you were at the resident hotels where, was it 5 tech stack changes that you went through over a period of
Well,
years?
over the years, so different technology across the 14 years. So yes, technology has definitely changed, and the way those were being done considerably differed.
And as you say, it's those objectives. Don't know what is that strategy, because in the conversations that you and I have had, it's been fascinating to learn that you were a single independent hotel, then it was a cluster, and then it was a group, and then it was a rebrand and a repositioning, and each of those you recognize a need to have a slightly different structure to your IT, and you took a different approach in order to harness the opportunities both operationally but also commercially. So it sounds like it is absolutely essential to start at the beginning of who are you as a hotel, and what you're looking at achieving.
Yeah, it's about setting those objectives early on. Although objectives then through the year and through the evolution of a business are subject to change, but definitely always reference to the strategy that you have to achieve those short, medium, and long-term goals. And it's about future proofing the business.
I mean, sometimes, you can't see the wood for the trees. You're there at your hotel, your hotel, but you might not necessarily have had the experience for what you're trying to achieve. What's the best way that hoteliers can get the insight and the support to make sure that the solution that they're building is going to be fit for their business?
Well, there are resources today that are available to businesses that perhaps are not as expert in the skill set to achieve a digital transformation project, or because the business is not big enough to support or to have those function in house. So the role of a consultant outsourcing has changed across hotel technology definitely over the years.
Now, cybersecurity is a big part of resilience, particularly for our industry. I mean, there's so many threats coming from all over the place. What are the key components to a protected hotel business today?
Uh, well, it has become a new product pillar and definitely a new cost line into everybody's P&Ls. And if it hasn't, definitely it should be, because it must be treated now as a core hospitality operation, not just an afterthought. Hotel do manage sensitive data, personal details, payment information, loyalty profiles, team information. So they have turned into, unfortunately, a prime target. So a layer approach here is crucial. We need to secure the networks. We need regular system updates. We need Teams awareness training and tools such as multi-factor authentication, MDM. It was also about response planning, knowing how to act if an incident occurs. And a strong cybersecurity not only protects guests, but also, and most importantly for hotelier, safeguards brand reputation and build trust that then consequently builds loyalty that affects multiple profitable revenue streams within hotel operations.
So how and where does focus on hospitality fit in here?
Well, focus is in parts focus it's a nationwide provider and has people across the nation to support teams. What it means is that wherever the hotel is, you can access specialist expert really quickly. We have teams of engineers and consultants who understand both IT and the infrastructure alongside the world of hospitality, which means that we're not just fixing the system, we're making sure that those systems aligns with operational needs. We understand the guest experience, we understand brand standards, and how they all work together to support operations and ultimately guest satisfaction, but also team satisfaction. Let's not forget about how important the people are within hospitality business. After all, they are the ones that deliver the actual hospitality. So nationwide coverage that Focus provide with this expertise really gives hotelier consistency, peace of mind, and faster resolution times.
Now let's bring in Kevin Edwards here, from Hospitality Technology Advisory. And thanks ever so much, Kevin. So you've worked with both independent hotels and some of the most iconic global portfolios. From your perspective, what is that need, therefore, to set those priorities for digital transformation?
Yeah, I think digital transformation, I think by its very title, would be somewhat misleading. I think it all starts with really understanding business need, business objective, and setting clear goals that are achievable for a business to understand to achieve. It's not focusing in on technology. I think all too often I come across organizations that approach me and sort of say, we'd like to understand how we can leverage AI. And from my approach, that just isn't how it should be done. It's always focused back on what are we trying to do? Are we trying to drive additional revenues? Are we trying to create efficiencies within the operation? Or are we looking at how we can improve guest satisfaction? And I think that unless you start with that lens, everything else that comes after is almost doomed for failure. I think when we spoke in the pre-call, you mentioned about, I think one of your prospective clients was looking to upgrade a PMS. And just looking at the PMS in isolation, from my perspective, just really sets you out on the wrong path.
It's fascinating. I mean, I've had other conversations as well earlier this year where they replaced the website and then realized they needed a CRM. And then before they were looking at the CRM, they realized they needed a new PMS. But then, as you say, well, hold on a second, before you start looking at a PMS, shouldn't be looking at the infrastructure. So there is that need for that mindset shift, isn't there?
Yeah.
How would you go about achieving that?
Yeah, without a doubt, there is. We've come from a place within hospitality where everything was fairly siloed, and everyone complained that everything was siloed, and it used to deal piecemeal with IT projects. And now we have to look at technology, as a global entity. It's got so many different components that are interconnected. And those dependencies are something that we need to ensure that we cover when looking at what we're trying to achieve. So, yeah, IT, and digital transformation is not a question per se for the IT team. It's a question for the business.
And that's so different today, particularly if you look back 5 years ago, where you might have had individual teams on every property. Then suddenly, this whole cluster world became, and those people who are sort of heads of clusters are all working from home or in office environment. But then you've got the service delivery business units that operate in quite a different way. So how do you look at the key differences in the technology requirements across these, I guess, two different ways of working in a hotel business and making sure you balance them effectively?
Yeah, I think for me, it's about having that really clear engagement with the actual operator and the line of business people themselves, understanding what they're doing, and understanding how they need to interact with systems. All too often you get systems that are designed by people that sit at desks, and they look at monitors and they think about, oh yeah, this is great. This is a great deal of information that we can sort of impart on, our I don't know, our housekeepers or upon our waiting staff. But nobody really considers actually how are they going to consume that data. Nobody really looks at it truly from the operator's lens. And until you've got that engagement, you're never really going to truly understand how you're going to deliver against your objectives.
I mean, as you say, you've worked with independent hotels, but also collections that I guess are quite spread out, and you need to sort of bring them all in together. Firstly, let's be realistic here. What's the timing, like the scheduling, planning factor here? How longer amount of time are we looking at to achieve this change and shift within the business and meet those tech goals?
Again, we're looking at digital transformation as a one-time project, and it really isn't about that. It's about really embracing technology into the way in which you operate your business. It's not just saying, okay, well, we're going to perform this objective and that's it. It doesn't stop. As soon as you stop is the time where you fall behind. It's about keeping pace, which is why we're sort of faced now with the so-called AI revolution, which is really challenging organizations within hospitality where they've had historic lack of investment within technology, and now they're finding it very, very difficult to keep pace. But the ones that have made technology as part of their overall business strategy are finding that adoption of different AI technologies a lot easier.
And what's your best way? What's your sort of tip would you give to people, businesses, to try and bring people, unify people, and have that focus on change and building a strategy and keeping people, everybody sort of aligned to the developments of what's going on?
Yeah, change management and communication are everything when it comes to projects that have a technology strand to them. People are quite resistant to change. And as as an industry, we've had this sort of reliance upon certain systems. You can think of the PMS systems, which I'm referring to. Where people have de facto used them for so long that actually their inertia to change is a big thing. I think once you get true stakeholder engagement and good communication going, people start to understand the benefits that other technologies can bring to their roles and actually just help them fulfill a greater guest experience.
Excellent, thank you. Now, this seems a perfect moment to bring Gemma in. Gemma Oakenfull from Access Accommodation. Now, you work with both chains and independent hotels, and it's about digital systems that are not just functional but strategic. And one of the key aspects is, yes, as a PMS, through Guestline, and all the other different systems that Access has, there's this need for having strong relationships. Tell us a bit more about those relationships and why it's so important and integral to success.
Sure. So for me, hotels should look for vendors who offer that really clear understanding of hospitality, in particular accommodation. We know it's such an intricate part of the industry, so having that knowledge is really giving you a great starting point. Of course, a reactive support desk, is absolutely the bedrock, but it really is about those relationships. And what we can do over at Access is really that proactive, strong support. So it's a customer success plan, which enables you to have regular reviews, quarterly business meetings, and that program management that you can bring and include third parties in. Because this collaborative, proactive support kind of methodology really enables that quick, long-term problem solving and ultimately drives the success of your hotel stack.
And that's the thing, this hotel tech stack, which we've so often talked about being this sort of system that sit top of the existing systems that are there, and now it's all in the cloud, and Access is renowned for having so many different applications and software systems that sit in the cloud nowadays. Tell us about the need, therefore, for a robust hotel infrastructure to support that ongoing development of the tech stack.
Sure. Well, it's cloud-led, of course, and I know PMSs have really kind of led the way for that cloud-based technology, but there's so many legacy systems that I think are still yet, on-premise. So definitely that cloud-led bedrock, first of all. And you'll hear me talk a lot about integrations today, but of course, fully integrated. It's super important for all of your systems. We know in hospitality there's a plethora, of course. So, having your PMS, your POS, your CRM, and most importantly, your secure payment tools kind of all talking to each other really ensures that secure, robust journey. And that in turn, enables things like automation, real-time data sharing, while ensuring that scalability and of course security and the compliance. So I guess the goal is to really streamline those operations to enable you to adapt quickly to those changing demands.
I mean, we started off this conversation talking about, relationships. It's not just external relationships, it's internal relationships, internal collaboration, and that role that technology can play in enabling that better between departments and with guests.
Yeah, so absolutely. Internally, it's super important to connect your departments through things like your PMS or your CRM. And that really ensures that really any system that holds customer data needs to be integrated. Again, definite theme here. And this allows that real-time information sharing, things like automated task management, and that really helps staff from all departments work together, super efficiently. Another consideration, which is super trendy at the moment, is a learning platform. Preferably one, again, that's hospitality focused, like a CPL. This enables staff to engage with each other outside of your standard tech stack through things like gamification's really cool now, and feeds. And this ensures they're also able to contribute back to the business, through their feedback and communication. And then directly for guests, obviously it's super important we've got their engagement as well. So technology now more than ever enables guests to self-serve. So enabling something like a guest portal really offers that personalized and seamless interaction, which has obviously got the added bonus of saving your team's time and enhancing the guest experience.
Now, as Kevin had mentioned, there is this sort of need to continually making sure you're addressing the digital side, and it's not just a one-off project. So you're seeing now hotels start to adopt different technologies as they move through and evolve, and therefore there is that need to have those strong vendor relationships in place to make sure that when you deploy new technology, it's successfully deployed, it's successfully integrated, whether it's upgrading the EPOS or moving from a server-based to a cloud-based PMS. So how do you work with other suppliers and the IT team, managed service IT teams, to make sure it's an effective and successful change?
Sure. So ultimately for us, it's about comprehensive staff support, both at the hotel and with the third parties. So we have very comprehensive onboarding programs and success plans that really offer a strong and clear framework, dedicated, points that, ownership of each of those elements. So yeah, that defined goal, definitely. Customer portal and proactive monitoring, self-service, all that clear communication path between departments and technology partners really help drive the success of that relationship. So yeah, I guess teams that aren't siloed in their own products, that can really collaborate with third parties, will help drive the success of any hotel stack, really.
Alessandra, Focus on Hospitality has been designed in order to provide that level of expertise, because it's not just a typical office dealing with just a Microsoft environment. There is that need to consider and be aware of all the other systems that are in place. How do you ensure that your teams are in the know of what's going on when it comes to the hotel tech stack and supporting these relationships for hoteliers?
We have brought on board hospitality, especially. I am, for example, I'm leading the team, and we conduct internal training and updates with the team on a regular basis, all the way from the sales team down the support team to the engineer there on site. And it focuses around the understanding that no hotel systems operate, and hotels operation operate in isolation or in the same manner. Each hotel is different, its tech stack is different, and success depends on integration, like Gemma mentioned repeatedly, and working smoothly across PMS, booking engine, Wi-Fi, payments, guest application, all the tech stack that is largely available today. So a strong supplier relationship ensures that the issues are resolved faster, with a support team that understand the hotel tech stack. So we act as a bridge between the suppliers and the hotel systems, and so the hotelier don't have to manage very complex vendor conversation in between the tech stack, the operational systems, no matter what that be, and the IT side of it.
I mean, you're no stranger to working with partners when you're at your previous role in hotels. So where do consultants and outsourcing play a role in helping hotels to scale and adapt their strategies?
So there is a lot of support that we provide, like Gemma mentioned, ensuring that we're having those reviews, that we talk with our hotel partner about their technology plans and what they're trying to achieve within the business. Very much linking back to what Kevin was saying, we need to know where you want to go and what you're trying to achieve before even talking about one solution. It's about being proactive and kind of foreseeing what potentially roadblocks you may have in front of you. So we act also as a strategic partner, helping owners and operators make informed technology decision, supporting the strategy, supporting the goals that they want to achieve. We need to know what they want to achieve in order to provide support. It doesn't start, I want a new PMS or I want a new website. It starts at the core. What are the organization objectives, and how can technology support those objectives now and moving forward, and make them resilient and flexible and agile for change?
Now we can open up to take some questions right now, but please happily click that Q&A button and send us any questions over. Kevin, coming back to you, budgets are always under pressure. So how should hotels think about CapEx versus OpEx when investing in resilience?
Well, I think, as we're seeing sort of this evolution within the industry of moving more towards software as a service and more platforms being delivered as a service, there's a natural shift towards operational costs as opposed to capital. And depending on the posture of the business, whether you've got an owner which is particularly receptive to CapEx, it's really different, and there is no one size fits all. It is about working with the right stakeholders to understand what investments are going to require. But I think ultimately, IT has long been seen as something that sits as, just expenditure, whereas actually, just understanding what it's enabling in terms of, is it driving that top line growth, or is it reducing the bottom line, in terms of your operating costs, I think until that's recognised within a business, I think there's always going to be this struggle from a budget point of view, whether it's capital, or whether it's operational cost.
Now, one of the other evolutions really that's been evolving massively over the last 20 or plus years is Wi-Fi. And obviously it's required for cloud systems today. Gemma, how should hotels think about scaling and leveraging Wi-Fi as a strategic asset beyond being an integral piece of the infrastructure?
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, it's been historically massively overlooked. It's certainly not just about providing a way for your guests to get on the internet anymore. Of course, it's essential to have fast and secure Wi-Fi, not only for guests, but to power some elements of your tech stack. Like, we've got integrated payment terminals now. But yeah, using your hospitality Wi-Fi platform, like Wireless Social, hotels can collect really valuable guest data, which in turn allows for personalized marketing. So you're sending me things that suit my preferences. And in turn, because you know me, you're driving and improving my loyalty and getting me to come back again and be a repeat guest. It also allows you to analyze generic data like footfall, so not just on the specific guest, but how is your hotel moving and shaking? Ultimately, reframing that Wi-Fi as a platform for engagement and enabling data-driven decisions really helps hotels drive revenue, improve your service, and future-proof their business.
Excellent, thank you. Now we're going to be coming to a moment to a couple of Q&A questions in the Q&A. But before we do, Alessandra, just please summarize for us, focus on hospitality. What services and products do you provide?
We bring together deep IT expertise and first-hand hospitality experience. We provide. Our services include a variety of different partners. You can see me from here to my screen, from connectivity to telecoms, cybersecurity, CCTV. AI, we're having a lot of AI-driven conversation, how business want to bring AI and what they want to try to achieve with AI through the business, as well as mobile solution, virtual CTO services and consultancy. We bring all of this together to support hotel businesses, hospitality businesses with their technology solutions.
Now, our questions only come towards AI and data as an extension to our conversation here. Before we do, for those who are needing to drop off, join us at the Independent Hotel Show at stand 23 to 25, right next to Hosper on the 6th and 7th of October. Alessandra's also going to be doing a presentation at 12:45 on the Monday in the social business space, and joining me as part of Travel Market Life Live podcast on the Tuesday at 2:45. And for a bit of a social, come and join us on the Monday from 4:30 p.m. at the Hand and Flower. So turning therefore to AI and data, Jane, we have a comment that's come through as part of this session. What have we got here?
Right. One of the first questions is about data, unsurprisingly. Quality data is at the core of any business transformation, not the tech, which is essentially plug and play, which I guess he's got a good point there. Operational and guest data in hospitality tends to live in PMSs, CRM, CDPs. Few hotel groups have a data lake or BI initiative. Shouldn't the future be refocusing on hospitality data and processes, then fit the right tech around this? Generative AI is just one piece of the tech that helps with unstructured data, but is just one small part of a future tech stack. I don't know who wants to take that one. That's quite a long one, quite a few points in there.
So yeah, a bit of AI is, as you say, is it just plug and play? Alessandra, what's your perspective on this?
it is absolutely correct. The way, and it links back to what we've been saying and what Kevin said earlier. It's not about changing the system, which are plug and play. It's about understanding the strategy and what technology and how AI can support in achieving that strategy, and in making sure that it allows for guest personalization. It allows for this unique view of one single guest through a golden profile, so it can drive that loyalty. We can communicate to the guest effectively as an individual, that in turn will make it loyal and a returning guest, driving higher margins. So it is all connected, is how we need to look at it from a lens out to the strategy to find the system that can support that strategy. And at the end is choosing the right partner to work with that can deliver on that.
I mean, it was interesting, as Gemma had mentioned, about how Wi-Fi as a core part of the infrastructure can collect that such essential data. And I guess, you know, that is one of the key problems with CRMs and PMSs, isn't it, Gemma, to be able to not just get the one guest that's booked, but all guests that are staying at the hotel, and it to be clean data and nothing that someone has scribbled on a piece of paper and some poor receptionist has had to type back into a computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is definitely where CRMs come into play to kind of collate all of that data together. But just picking up on the comment about the data lake, I think historically you've kind of had your data as like the foundation and the building blocks on top of that. But what I think is super exciting in the industry at the moment, and we're about to launch Access Evo for our PMS, and we have it for other Access products, it's not a data lake, it is an umbrella. So it sits on top of all of your products. So your PMS, your CRM, your Wi-Fi, and it drags all of that information so you can interrogate and have that data in one place. So yeah, I do totally agree that one source of truth, wherever that may be, is super important.
I mean, you know, Kevin, data lakes, you know, it's a big thing to a piece of infrastructure in itself, isn't it? And making sure that that data is clean and usable. How are you approaching this with your clients and the projects you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, across all of our clients, you know, data is foundational. You know, and ensuring that you've got, you know, the correct, you know, operational data and analytical data. You know, very different use cases, but you know, utilizing things such as data lakes, customer data platforms, which you know the majority of our clients do. You know, we're able to easily determine what information needs to get to what individual, and I think that's a critical element. You know, it comes back down to, you know, what are you trying to achieve as a business, and how is your data going to enable that? You know, for me, it's something which is foundational in the conversation in terms of design and architecture of what you have. You know, to sort of Gemma's point there, you know, I think the one concern which I still have is, you know, everyone still talks about, oh yeah, it's plug and play, it's open API. You've still got to get somebody to build that. You've still got to get somebody to maintain and support it. And the standards to which information can flow is different on every system. So I think, you know, the marketing blurb, which, you know, many of the vendors sort of put together is great, but the reality, you know, is somewhat different in terms of actually when it comes to deployment.
Thank you. Jane, have you got any other questions?
I do indeed. There's lots of references and comments, and I think all your lovely panelists mentioned along the line something about stakeholder engagement, change management, teamwork, and really it's practical hints for getting all the employees supporting a digital change, and any top tips for breaking down silo activity to get that implementation through, but then also to prevent them coming back. So very operational question there. Very, very useful one if anyone's got any top tips.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to sort of suggest, I mean, from my perspective, you know, one of the key things we do, and as I sort of mentioned earlier, it is really sit down and listen to the operation, you know, and speaking to people, listen, you know, often, you know, I'll spend time, you know, out our clients' premises and you just observe, you know, how does front of house, you know, how do they deal with the guests? What challenges do they have? You know, are they more engaged in their screen than the guest? You know, how do waiters get information about guests? All of these things, I think, once you engage people into the process and listen to them and make them feel listened, that for me, you know, that unlocks so much.
There's another one following on from that, which is a really similar question, but sort of rather than managing alongside or downwards into the team, I think, Kevin, you made it clear that tech needs to be there to address a business need primarily, rather than implementing change for the sake of it. But if we're not looking at reducing staffing costs or making any sort of particular financial savings, are there any top tips, again, for persuading businesses, say a finance director, that a new system, saying something that's not in his or her day-to-day operations, say like housekeeping, how perhaps they don't understand what the benefits are? Are there any top tips on getting, I guess, the finance department to sign the check at the end of the day?
I'll happily take it.
I think you should.
Yeah. Okay. I think you know, with any business, you have the different measures, and some of those measures can come down to staff fulfillment. We know that retaining staff within hospitality is one of the challenges that we've always faced, and by giving them systems which are either not fit for purpose or are cumbersome, this can be one of the factors of why people don't stay in the roles which they're in, because actually the tools they're given are making their job that much harder. So each finance director is different, but it comes back down to putting the business case and understanding the problem that you're going to overcome as part of this. And I think if you're able to measure that both before and after, then that's the role that you have to follow.
Brilliant, thank you. And there's one, Alessandra, definitely for you here. The role of a technology director is so far-reaching, from fixing a printer to power surges to cybersecurity, and not least changing and implementing new software solutions, be they plug and play or not. And as we all know, they're not quite as simple as plug and play. What roles specifically can Focus help with? Can we outsource all of our cyber security to you? Would you look after our power surges, all those bits and pieces?
Our solution are very much ad hoc. We deliver certain products that can support a hotel, a group of hotels, either as a unit, or we can then deploy different solutions from, depending on the organization, how it is structured, it is whether there is IT teams within the business, and we can support them, because after all, it's a business that runs 24/7, 365 days a year. So one person isn't enough, even if it was a small boutique hotel. So how do you complement that time and that resource? So from the IT managed services to the telephony element to the strategy. So it is, we provide a puzzle, a big puzzle, and hoteliers can work with us on some of the pieces and grow the strategy and make sure that they are fully supported in the things that they need. So we work with in a range of different ways. We work with management companies that have a CTO, an IT director, an IT manager, but all their IT managed services fully outsourced to us, and our engineers are on site fixing the printers, etc., and we guide the strategy and do those reviews. Or we just do ad hoc projects. We're working with another hotel group and deploying all the new guest infrastructure and networks and Wi-Fi to make sure that the guest is recognized, and we collect on that data to populate and enrich those guest profiles that then is actionable by the marketing team. So we can work in any ways on building the strategy and the successful hotels.
So they just need to come and talk to you, really, don't they? That would
yes,
solve
absolutely.
that one. Now, this is the most far-reaching question I think I've ever been asked on a webinar. I'm going to read it as it is. How can we increase revenue and social media engagement? So that's, you can answer that any way you like, because increasing revenue and social media engagement don't necessarily go hand in hand. But Gemma, have you got any sort of recommendations on that? Increasing revenue and social media engagement.
I think I'll start with the social media engagement, if I can. I guess with the clients that I look after, the hotels that have the most direct booking, so I guess that is linking with that increased revenue question, are people that are super engaged, post loads of content on every social media platform going. There's And TikTok is a controversial one, but a lot of hotels are on it now. It drives a massive amount of engagement. So just creating engaging content on those platforms, like 24 hours at the hotel, you know, come with a chef and let's make our new special dish. All of that will get the engagement there. And then by posting your direct website or your booking links or your offers in the actual bio of those posts will really help to drive that engagement. So yeah, I guess just giving yourself a bit of a face and showing off the personality of your hotel.
I think that's a very good answer. And driving revenue, I think that is the holy grail, isn't it? That's what everyone is trying to do, especially at the moment with all the rising costs. Do you think it is realistic to say that a digital transformation, clearly there's an upfront cost there, but is there a realistic solution to driving revenue through that as well?
There are certainly, all those elements are definitely connecting into what Gemma said. It's about engaging as a business with your potential audience and customer and guest that will drive that awareness to increase revenue through your website, which ultimately drives profitability. And yes, everyone is trying to increase their revenues, but the costs are rising definitely at accelerated pace compared to the rising revenue. And that's where technology come in to support that. It is an investment, especially for hotels that are still using legacy technology. It is an investment, but I found that the return it's quite accelerated compared to when we were doing non-digital transformations 20 years ago, because it plays into the guest expectation. Guests are using technology in their day-to-day. They bring it into the doors with them through the devices that they use, and there is an expectation that they find the same or similar technology to support in their journeys when they land through the doors and into the bedrooms. Equally, technology plays a direct role into team satisfaction. And if the system, like Kevin was said earlier, if the system are updated and are unreliable, the teams are frustrated, the service suffers, the turnover increase. So that contribute to the will of recruiting, training, and retraining and retention. That really plays, the retention plays to the bottom line and the operational cost and efficiencies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's those non-direct benefits, I guess, that will be seen over time, definitely. Ryan, have you got any further questions? I can't see any more online. Is there any more that you have?
Just one further question, really relating back to AI, because it is on everybody's lips. And really, as Kevin mentioned, constantly being asked, Kevin, aren't you, where AI fits into all of this? So what's one piece of advice do you give to hotels when it comes to actually thinking about the AI elements and how integral it must be throughout the property and throughout the business?
Yeah, I think it's all about having a measured approach. I think we saw all too often, if you rewind back to the .com boom, suddenly everyone jumped onto this bandwagon of the internet and thought it might take off, and those that did had really clear objectives of why they were adopting it, and it's no different with AI. If you look at the sort of I boil it down to three different strands. You've got generative, agentic, and then you've got analytical. And I think if you look at the generative, I think it was mentioned earlier in one of the questions, I'm not sure we have really good use cases which are aligned yet, that really are driving opportunity for businesses. Whereas, certainly an agentic point of view in terms of automating processes and things like that, there's some phenomenal opportunity. So I guess it shouldn't be all consuming, but it should be integrated.
And then Gemma, when it comes to hotels preparing their infrastructure and ensuring that it's able to support AI, what should they be considering from an access perspective?
For me, it's choosing flexible, integrated technology with trusted partners, and really engaging your staff. We do see a big pushback we get on the whole AI revolution is that staff are seriously concerned about losing their jobs. And what we like to kind of reassure them is that people not using AI are going to be replaced by people that use AI. It isn't a staff replacing tool. It's to supercharge your staff to be able to do their jobs and have more time to deliver that exceptional service. So yeah, just really building a culture that embraces that change will help you adopt it as quick as possible.
And finally, over to our sponsor, Alessandra. How is Focus on Hospitality embedding AI, or how can hotels utilize AI through that core infrastructure that Focus provides?
We are cautiously optimistic. We have our AI engineers that are constantly innovating our internal platform for our use to begin with, but we are having also a lot of conversation with hotelier how to involve AI. You know, come and see us at Independent Hotel Show. We have a wonderful presentation about AI and how we are utilizing it to across in different ways, both internally to the team, externally to the guest, to have all that data that is normally unavailable and dismissed to be part of the guest journey, and through wonderful insights and data that then can be available to the operators to use for marketing and grow the revenue and drive direct channels, as well as within the team for training, sentiment analysis, etc. So, but it goes back, what are you trying to achieve and what are you trying to set as goals, and how AI can support it effectively. Is not just about, yes, let's put this AI through. And I definitely agree with Gemma, it's not going to replace people. It's just going to give people back time to do what they do best, which is deliver the guest amazing experience. So it's going to empower them even more to deliver those moments of magic throughout the stays.
It is fascinating. Yeah, AI doesn't have to be all glamour, does it? It can just be about, you know, informing you if there's going to be some downtime when it comes to Wi-Fi, or it's going to be a security threat. That AI has that intelligence to be able to identify and spot those patterns. So, Alessandra, thank you ever so much for putting on and curating this session alongside our guest here, Kevin Edwards from Hospitality Technology Advisory and Gemma Oakenfull from Access Accommodation. As Alessandra says, we will be in person at the Independent Hotel Show or at Hospace for Hospa in November. Very much looking forward to that. Or you can obviously just get in contact with Focus on Hospitality on their website. And Alessandra is reachable on LinkedIn. So thank you ever so much indeed. I think that ends the session today, therefore, Jane.
Yeah, I've just want to thank you, Ryan, and obviously Alessandra, Gemma and Kevin too, which was fantastic. And as I always say, if anybody listening today needs formal advice, then please do approach your professional advisors or come to me at Hospa for a referral. And please let me know if anybody here would like to be introduced directly to any of the panelists. Please just let me know as well. Please also take a look at hospa.org for upcoming events. We've got a number of webinars and a few in-person events. And as we've already established, we're all going to be at the Independent Hotel Show. So the Hospa team will be there in force alongside Focus on Hospitality. Additionally, we've got our Great Green Balloon debate coming up on the 16th of October, which is going to be a fantastic affair. So wherever you are on your ESG journey, you will definitely learn something on at that event, I can guarantee it. We've got a golf day at the Belfry in conjunction with Centelli, so please come along to that if you're interested in golf, or even if you just want a nice day out. And then, as Ryan and Alessandra kindly mentioned, Hospace, our annual conference. So if you haven't already secured your delegate ticket, please do as quickly as you can. And it's on the 13th of November at the Royal Lancaster, London. And I think everybody here will be there, hopefully representing their various companies and hotel groups. As I said at the beginning, you will find recordings of all of our webinars and masterclasses on our website and also on our YouTube channel. And this one will be uploaded within the next few days. But thank you to all of you for listening. And thank you very much to the wonderful panelists that was just very engaging. Lovely. Thank you very much, Ryan, for managing that. And look forward to seeing you all again very soon. So thank you and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you. Bye bye.